This is an article about World War I. It discusses the political and military alliances that led up to the war. The war itself took place from 1914 to 1918. It was a global conflict, with fighting in Europe, Africa, the Middle East, the Pacific, and parts of Asia. The war resulted in the deaths of over 9 million soldiers and over 4 million civilians. The war began with the invasion of Belgium by Germany on August 4th, 1914. This was followed by declarations of war between Germany and France, Russia, and Great Britain. The war quickly escalated, and by the end of 1914, there were over 30 countries involved in the conflict. The war was fought on multiple fronts, including the Western Front, the Eastern Front, the Italian Front, and the Gallipoli Campaign. The Western Front was the longest and bloodiest front of the war. It was characterized by trench warfare in which opposing armies faced each other across a network of trenches and barbed wire. The Eastern Front was also a major theater of the war, and it saw some of the largest battles of the conflict. The Italian Front was fought between Italy and Austria-Hungary, and it was characterized by mountainous terrain and fierce fighting. The Gallipoli Campaign was an attempt by the Allies to capture the Ottoman Empire's capital, Constantinople. However, the campaign was a failure, and it resulted in heavy casualties for both sides. The war ended with the signing of the Armistice of Compiègne on November 11, 1918. The Armistice Agreement required Germany to surrender its fleet and its colonies, and it also imposed heavy reparations on the country. The war had a profound impact on the world, and it led to the collapse of empires, the rise of new nations, and the development of new technologies. The war also had a significant impact on the arts and literature. The war poets such as Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon wrote about the horrors of trench warfare and the futility of war. The war novelists such as Erich Maria Remarque and Ernest Hemingway wrote about the psychological impact of war on soldiers and civilians. World War I was a watershed moment in history, and it continues to be studied and debated today. The war was a tragedy, but it also led to significant changes in the world, and it is important to remember the lessons of the war in order to prevent future conflicts.